You're numb, you don't feel a thing, you don't think. The only thing you think is your next fix. That keeps you going. You don't think of this guy, you don't think of what he's doing. You just think he must get finished. It's like a robot laying there and you're just thinking of your hit and there. That's it, you know, it's like you have no emotion, you have no thoughts. You just shut off from the world.
The sale of sex for money is frequently referred to as one of the oldest professions. In the modern world, prostitution is often considered to be an immoral act that is harmful to society and encourages the exploitation of women. It is illegal in most countries. However, in many countries, sex worker advocacy groups lobby for its legalization or decriminalization to protect the rights of the women involved and give them the opportunity to have more freedom of choice. In South Africa, prostitution has been illegal since the 1957 Sexual Offences Act, but remains a common practice, often as a result of economic need. Prostitution is a controversial issue all over the world. We explore its place in South Africa today.
It has become more and more of a problem, and I think now that there's more freedom in the Constitution and so on, there's more acceptance of things like that. So definitely it's escalating. It's not only escalating here, it's escalating all over the world. Prostitution is on the increase everywhere.
Marge Ballon has been involved with inter-outreach ministries for many years and ran a safe house helping women leave prostitution, rehabilitating them and teaching them skills so that they were able to support themselves and often their children. She is now training volunteers to continue her work.
Into different pieces of law in South Africa at the moment, we have a complete system of criminalization where both selling and buying makes sex work a crime.
Vivian Lalu is a social worker in charge of the advocacy program at SWEAT, the Sex Worker Education and Advocacy Task Force. It is a non-profit organization that aims to protect the rights of adult commercial sex workers.
Most of the women trapped in prostitution are not there as a career choice. They're there because, not because of choice, but because of a lack of choices. It's usually family breakdown, sexual abuse, poverty, desperation, all of those.
Errol Naidu is the president of the Family Policy Institute, which aims to build a healthy and prosperous society by protecting the institutions of marriage and family and bringing family values to Parliament and the media. According to Selling Sex in Cape Town, a 2-year study by the Institute for Security Studies and the Sex Worker Education and Advocacy Task Force, the first complete survey and analysis of the sex work industry in Cape Town, there are just over 1,200 prostitutes currently working on the streets and in brothels in Cape Town. Each woman has her own reason for entering the industry. However, many share similar circumstances.
At least 80% of prostitutes were sexually abused when they were children. The other reason is lack of employment. People can't find jobs, women can't find jobs, they don't have the skills to find employment, so they see it as an easy way to make money.
Often it's about pure economics, about what can they do where they can make a decent living.
The way I grew up is like very tough. Understand my point? Because you can't say if you go to school you're gonna make something of your life because you can't. I was working on a farm, so yeah, I could do the horses and everything, and I was 14 years old, turning 15, and I earned 250 a week. And I ended up with a child. I'm very proud of. I have to do it, but I have to do it because there's no jobs out there. It's easy. It's easy money.
Miranda has been working as a prostitute for 5 years. She was very concerned about the protection of her identity and consequently would not reveal on camera many of the darker details of her experiences in the sex work industry.
I was an abandoned child. You know, my childhood was not a happy one. My mother took me out of school when I was 12 years old because I had to go. Many times I had to sleep on the stoop I just left my mother's home because I wasn't feeling too welcome there and I wasn't happy there. Then I went to work at the factory, and the boss, he was after me because I was young and fresh, and he tried to seduce me. And he would tell me when I'm on day shift, just clock out and come to the front. And then I would just, one day, I just walked. Then I got me another job. The same thing happened. The manager was, you know, working late shifts, and then I would be the last one in the factory, and then they would be drinking White Horse with me. And of course you feel flattered, you know. I was 16 years old at that time, and taking nude pictures of me, and I was still a virgin at that time. I never had sex. There was this girl, her name was Joyce. She lived close to me in Metro. Then we became friends. We met a girl, Yolanda. I think she was a prostitute. I never went back to work, and that's how my life started in prostitution. I think when you're young, you enjoy the thrill. You enjoy the thrill of the excitement, the money, the beautiful clothes.
Christina worked as a prostitute for 30 years, first in the dockside nightclubs and later on the streets. 9 years ago, she went to the safe house run by Marge and is now looking after many foster children, making crafts and jewelry, and helping to train volunteers to assist women to leave prostitution.
So they come in with very low self-esteem regarding their sexuality. That lowers the barrier for entry into prostitution. But the economic need encourages them to think outside of the traditional job sector, like working at Checkers or ShopRite, which would be where a high school dropout goes. And so they'll take a trip to the clubs, and what's ironic is that initially it feels like a party. It's a nightclub. There's drinking, there's dancing, there's interacting with guys. The guys are interested in them, and they can get money for doing something that they would simply have to do to keep a relationship. So they can earn 5 times more in a month than they could working in a straight job. So, so typically it's a combination of family abuse, childhood pregnancy, teenage pregnancy leading to economic need, and then the quick and easy lure of quick money.
Henry Trotter is the author of Sugar Girls and Seamen, A Journey into the World of Dockside Prostitution in South Africa, which now has shelf time in the United States and the United Kingdom. He has a PhD in African history from Yale University.